Hi, I'm Scott Edward Babcock. Haven't always liked that name, but it is who I am, right? I was born on March 26, 1966 in Neenah, Wisconsin. Um, Theta Clark Hospital pinched me. Um, you can call me whatever you want to call me. You can think I am whatever you want to think I am, but the fact is, I'm me. Scott Edward Babcock. That's all I've ever been. That's all I'll ever be. And that's good for me. Um, I know where we're going here right now, but we're going to go there. Uh, I hate to have to fucking say this, but I don't drink, I don't do drugs, none of that shit. This is just me. Some people don't like accepting that I'm me. Um, they want to think that, oh, Scott went back to drinking again. No, Scott is never going back to drinking again. Alcohol has no control over me. I don't need to go to AA meetings. I don't need fellowship. I don't need anything. I have everything I need right here. If you want, you can call me Reverend. I have that title. It was given to me by a younger guy who was given that title. I don't tell anybody that. I mean, I do when it comes to if you would like me to be the guy that performs your wedding ceremony or something, but I don't. I'm not a minister. I don't. That's not my job. It's something I can do. And I can do a lot of things. And a lot of the things that I can do, people think are magic or tricks or whatever. And they're not. It's just a process of figuring things out. So, Sunday morning, and we are at a place. And in this place, there's life going on. And I'm going to tell you, there are people here. There are people laughing. There are people talking. There are people walking. There are people. There's a guy right there putting something in his car. There's birds flying. There's nests in trees. There's all these things, and you can't see them because I've parked in a way that I'm not allowing you to see what's going on right before my very eyes and what could be going on in front of your very eyes if I turn the camera around. Okay? But I'm not doing that because right now you fully believe what I said, that there are people where I'm at, and they're out there and they're talking and they're playing and they're laughing and they're enjoying life at this place. Because you have no reason not to believe me. And I do not lie. Anybody who knows me knows that there is nothing I love more than truth. Mr. Kennedy, when he said we have nothing to fear but fear itself, that wasn't just words. So anyway, I'm going to get off topic. I'll come back. Don't worry about it. So you know, because I am telling you that I am in a place where there are people living life, that there are people out there living life. Even though you can't see them, that doesn't mean they're not there. Even though you see them, can't see them, doesn't mean you don't believe that they are there. You do believe they are there because you know they are there because I am telling you the truth. You don't need to see them to know that they are there. Take any messages you want from what I have to say and throw the rest away. That's fine. Don't credit me for anything that I say. This is not scripted. I'm just talking off the top of my head. I don't want any credit. I don't want, oh, well, he said, no, I don't want that at all. I want you to get whatever you can get from what I have to say on this beautiful Sunday morning that started out raining, and now the sun is shining bright, and everything's green and beautiful as it should be. And we're here. I was at a different place. I went to a place that was, that has long before I arrived, been considered sacred. And I went there, and I was going to do this there because I thought, hey, there's a lesson in this. So I went to this sacred place. And while I was there were people coming there too. Now these people, they don't know who I am. They don't know what I'm doing. They don't, because they don't know, and they don't know, and they don't know, they have to try to make up their minds what it is that I'm doing, or who I am, or why I'm in this sacred place. And they kind of chased me out. Not literally. They didn't come and say, Scott Edward Babcock, you need to get out of here. You don't belong in our sacred place. But they came into the sacred place, and then they give me dirty looks and, that little number and all that stuff. I did not leave because I was uncomfortable. I left because they were uncomfortable. How can I do this from a sacred place? To give it its meaning, if they're going to chase me out of the sacred place. Now remember, they did not chase me out. I chose to leave. Because what I need to do didn't need me to be in this sacred place. It just needs me to do what I need to do wherever I do it. So here we are, because wherever we go, that is where we are, and this is where I went, and this is where we're doing this. And now I could analyze this all to death and say nobody's going to watch this because it's going to be too long or whatever. I could try to stop it every 10 minutes and let you pick the next one if you want to or whatever. And then you could go to that one, and you could go to that one, and you could go to that one. Or I could just do this whole thing, however long it takes, whatever I got to say. I could take it home, and I could take this camera, and I could plug it into my computer, and I could take the film off, and I could film, it's not film, and I could sit there, and I could divide it up into 10-minute sections to make it easier for everybody to watch when they have time. But see, I'm all about cutting out the middleman and the things that don't matter. Okay, it doesn't matter how long this is. If you want to watch it, you can watch it. I don't have to cut it up for you so that it's more convenient for you. You can hit pause. You can come back. You can watch as much as you want to watch and then never watch the rest. That's all up to you. What I need to do is talk and be. So that's what I'm going to do. So there's the solution. Well, can it cut out the middleman? We don't need a middleman. We don't need any editing. If this is too long for you, feel free to hit pause and come back, or don't come back. It's up to you. So I'm at another place. And the thing about sacred places, even the one that I chose to leave, things happen and people determine that a place is sacred. Nobody mystical or anything came down and said, okay, you guys, this place is sacred. You must honor it, you must hold it, you must. Somebody, way long ago, I believe in this particular instance, it might have been 1953. I'd have to recheck, I don't remember, because it's details that don't matter. Now remember, there's an expression, the devil is in the details. And that is very true, and I will talk about some of that. But the fact, some of the details just don't matter. They're like a piece of glass breaking, and the glass shatters and flies all over. What matters is the glass broke, but what doesn't matter is the little pieces that are laying all over the place that we're going to have to sweep up and put away. So, somebody told somebody else that a piece of land was sacred, and that somebody else chose to believe that that piece of land was sacred, and it spread until the point that it became sacred. And people came to this place because it was sacred, and they could be healed, they could be at peace, they could do this, they could do that. And the fact remains, But whatever it was that happened, it was a man. And when I say man, I don't mean male human being. I say man as in a human being. And to be quite honest with you, the person who told everybody else that this place that I went to was sacred was a woman. That's what I mean. Male, female, doesn't matter. Man, human, determined that the place was sacred. Had an experience, believed the place was sacred. You know what? I'm going to tell you, I don't really think that the woman who determined that the place was sacred told everybody to bow down to it and like, oh my God, this is the place. I don't think she wanted that at all. What I don't know. I never met her. I believe she was dead before I was born. And so the place is sacred. But over these many, 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 many years, this place that was sacred and was surely beautiful in the beginning is not the prettiest picture in the world right now, because they decided it was sacred and they were going to hold it and cherish it forever, and then life got in the way. People still go there, but people don't treat it the way that you would think that people would treat sacred things, and it's problems. And I was drawn there many times. I went there. I mean, I don't mean drawn there like somebody was flying in front of me, follow me, follow me. I just felt like I should go. And I went. And I learned. And I go there and I continue to learn. And so, I've determined that this place is sacred. You can believe that, or you cannot. If you believe it is sacred, you can come down here believing that you can come to this place and you will be healed of whatever torment you're going through, whatever physical ailments you may have. Come down here and cure your own cancer if you want to, if you really believe that's going to work. Because I've determined that this is a sacred place. And I have told you now that this is a sacred place. And now you can do what you want to do with that information. We can always do what we want to do. Sometimes we do things just to remind ourselves that we don't really want to do them anymore. Doesn't change that we did them before. Doesn't change that we did them again to make sure that we didn't really want to do them. And we can change our mind. We can do them again. Like, you can have a cigar. Or a cigarette. Or a highball. Or a shot of heroin. Sniff a coke. Smoke up some weed. If you want to do it, you're going to do it. If you don't want to do it, you're not going to do it. Because nobody's in control of you or me. And if you think you do want to do it, you'll do it. Even if it's only to remind yourself that you don't want to do it anymore. I quit smoking. I don't like smoking. I actually, as part of my business, have a little program that I'm going to get going here pretty soon to teach people how to quit smoking. Or whatever they want to quit doing. But the other day, I was on a kick about fucking smoking. Because people were smoking behind my back. Because I don't smoke, they thought that they should hide from me that they were choosing to smoke. And people were hiding and smoking their cigarettes. All alone, off by themselves, hiding what they think is this terrible flaw that they have of smoking. Whatever. And I typoed a message. And I didn't know it until far later. Because I meant to type smile. It's okay, you know. Somehow my damn phone turned it into smoke. It's okay, you know. So I'm like, nah, I don't want to smoke. I had a friend sitting around in my office at work who was talking to me, telling me that his greatest joy is at the end of the day, he goes down, walks around the water, and smokes a cigar. This happened prior to the typo. I did the typo, and I never looked at it. I didn't see it. I didn't know. I just thought it said what I thought I said. And I took off on a mission, and I ran around, and I went to look to see if there was any response to what I said, and I saw that I'd written smoke. It's okay, you know? So, I started thinking about the guy and his cigar. I'm going down the road and there's a gas station. I'm like, you know what? I actually kind of did like cigars. Yeah, smoke Scott. It's okay, you know. So I got some cigars. And I've been enjoying them for the last couple of days. And I don't like it. I like the peace, the quiet, the serenity I get sitting here and smoking this cigar. And Gordy likes the peace and serenity that he gets when he walks around the water smoking his cigar. But I don't like... It just makes my lungs feel tight. It makes my body feel not as strong as normal. And I don't like it as a habit. Because if you do it, it's not a habit, it's just something you do. But if you do it long enough, it'll have bad effects. And it's only for me, it's been a day. And I already feel it. And I know I'm not going to keep doing this, but I'm going to do it as long as I feel like doing it. And then I'm going to quit. And I'm not going to do it again. Unless some point, another several years down the road, I decide I want to do it again just to prove that I don't want to do it again. So, we're down here in this secret place, and all this life is going on before us, and nobody is bothering me. Nobody cares that I'm a guy in a funny little hat and a black truck, smoking a cigar and talking to a camera. They're not staring at me. They're not coming over here, hey, what are you doing here? They're not giving me dirty looks. They don't care why I'm here, enjoying what is before me, just like they're doing. So I'm free to be me at this moment, and I'm free to smoke this cigar and say what's ever on my mind. I'm free to take as much time as I want. I'm free to not edit it. I'm free to not cut things out. I'm free to not chop it into pieces so it's easier for other people to read. I am just being who and what I want to be at the moment. And what that is just sitting here and trying to explain that life is not what it seems. The things that I do, I've had people call the cops on me for helping them. I am not kidding you. And as a matter of fact, the cop that got me this time was the same cop that had to come and talk to me the last time that somebody called down the cops on me for trying to help them. They're afraid of me because I do these magical, mystical things that aren't fucking magical or mystical at all. People, it's a matter of common sense and logic and following a trail from the beginning of the problem to all the possible solutions to the one that is the best solution. That's all I do. There's no magic. We get caught up on labels and titles and who we are and I am this, that, or the other thing. And I've had a lot of that lately. I am this, I am that. I mean, be whatever you want to be. It doesn't make it any more real than anything else. It's real to you. You know, I've had people talk to me of angels and demons and witches and warlocks and advanced souls and empaths and all these things that are very real to the people who claim to be these things. The problem isn't that they believe they are these things. The problem is that they have wrapped their entire identity into these limited definitions of themselves. Well, I think that's silly. It's silly to, well, for example, I am a witch. Not me. I'm saying somebody else. I would never say anything like that. I hate saying that I'm a reverend. It's a fucking title. But they do. I'm a witch. I'm a witch. I'm a witch. I'm a warlock. I'm a shaman. I'm a this. And I want you to know that I am your shaman. I am the guy. I am the one. I'm the one. I'm the witch. I'm the. And they get wrapped up in that, and they forget that they're so much more than that. I try to avoid any limits in my life. I leave myself open to whatever will be. Will be. There is no other way. There is no other way. What will be will, in fact, be. Online, we do have the ability to change the possible outcomes. But there comes a point where something has become what it is, and it cannot be anything else anymore. A tree comes down in a storm and it gets cut up in pieces. It can't be a tree again. It can only be the pieces. And you can look at the pieces and you can see that's a heart. It's angel wings. You make it whatever you want it to be, but it's still a pile of wood that used to be a tree that can never be a tree again. And as soon as you accept that that tree will never be a tree again, and that you're still seeing all this beauty in it, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with letting it be? Life is about letting it be. Everybody wants to talk about things that don't matter. Everything that's wrong in our world right now, and believe me, people, it's the world. It's not just the United States of America. The whole world is messed up right now. Because we're trying to fight what is trying to be. We can't get anywhere because one person on one side says this is what it is, and the other person on this side says this is what it is. It's all illusion. And the reason it's illusion, take that word any way you want. Don't get mystical on me here, because there's no mystery. The great mystery, people, is that there is no great mystery. Life is so simple. We make it so hard by questioning why, and demanding to be something in the view of other people. We want people to see us as witches and warlocks and shamans and medicine men and reverends and salesmen and retail clerks and whatever, because we want to be somebody. We want everybody else to acknowledge that we are somebody, and this is the problem. You are somebody. We are all somebody, and the only person that needs to acknowledge us is ourselves. And once we do that, you will know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. Everybody says this. Everybody walks around with all these great truths right in the corners of their vision, and rather than accepting them as the great truth they are, they have to twist them up into other things. Let me tell you what I mean by illusions and how everything is illusion. Every fight, every argument, every murder, every war, every genocide, every Holocaust, every single one of these things were caused by illusion. And the illusion is this. You have two people. This person believes this and says this and demands this and wants this. This is their reality. This is the way it is. Unfortunately, this person has their way it is too. They believe it's this, they believe it's that, they believe whatever. That does not gel with this person's. So an argument ensues, and then a fight ensues, and then a death ensues, or whatever. Okay? The fact is, the illusion is the difference. It's the separation of the two people. Nobody wants to fight. Nobody wants to be miserable. Nobody really ever wanted to kill anybody. But you get trapped in the illusions that that's what must happen. I gave my wife an example this morning on this whole thing, and I can't think of a better one, so I'm going to do that at our house, on our porch. There's a window. That's my office at home, my sanctuary, my rectory, if you got to go with the whole minister thing. And against the window, we're sitting on the porch, we're talking, and there is a chair leaning against the window. And I said, now what if I said, I don't want that chair against my window. The chair's got to get off my window, and it's got to move over there up against the rail. And you are, no, it needs to go here. No, it needs to go there. We've created a situation that did not exist so that we fight about it, so that I could try to get my way and she could try to get her way. And no, we're not actually fighting about the chair. This is just an example. The fact is, that chair is just sitting there. It is just being a chair, leaning up against the house, next to a window, next to an office. The chair is not hurting anybody where it's at. The chair is not in the way of anything. There's really no reason it needs to move. If it needed to be moved, if it was in the way and people were tripping over it or whatever, it would be moved. But the fact is, it doesn't need to be moved. But me and my wife could sit there and fight about whether it needed to be moved if we chose to. See how that works? It's not magic, man. It's not anything mystical. It's very, very simple. This is what I like to do. I love figuring out the illusion. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a magician. I don't remember how old I was. And I was home and watching TV. It was a great big special. They used to have great big specials all the time back in the 70s. ABC's Wide World of Sports. I think it was ABC. Doesn't matter if it was ABC. It could have been CBS. The fact is, the wide world of sports did exist. We all believed in it. We all loved it. One special that happened a lot was the Doug Henning Magic Show specials. And Doug would come out and he would do his thing, and God darn it, I wanted to be Doug Henning. Doug Henning, at whatever age I was the first person I fell head over heels madly in love with. I wanted what he had. I loved him because whatever he had, that's what I wanted. I was a child, very small. And my dad explained to me that, Doug's not magic, okay? He doesn't have anything that you don't have. Showed me a card trick. If I start learning other tricks, I used to know some damn good tricks and I forgot them. Because when I knew the trick, they weren't tricks anymore. They weren't magic. They weren't anything more that I needed that I didn't already have. And what I try to do is I try to help people, and I try to solve their problems, and I try to teach them how to help themselves in the future so that they don't need me, because nobody needs anybody. All we need is ourselves. That does not mean that we are selfish and we have no compassion for other people and our only aim is our own pleasure. It just means we only need ourselves. the true reality is, whether you believe it or not, whether I believe it or not, if everybody we know packed up and left, or if we ourselves decided to jump on a motorcycle and ride to whatever and never come back, we'd still have everything we need, because all we need is ourselves. It's all right here. So I see people get caught up in things that I know they're wrong about. Like right now, you could be fighting with yourself. He's lying. There are not people out there enjoying life in front of him. There are not people out there who are not staring at him and judging him and all this other thing. There's not a guy sitting there talking to his wife, making hand gestures like this. You can believe that I'm lying about that all you want to. And you could argue convincingly that I'm lying because you cannot see what is out there. But I'm only hiding it from you. If I turn around the camera right now and showed you that they are there, you would believe based on evidence rather than just knowing. Because I told you they're there, they're there. It's an illusion. This is an illusion that you are watching me, and the only thing that there is me, the inside of this truck, and the trees behind me. But you know there are people in front of me. Why would I lie about that? It'd be the dumbest thing in the world to lie about. So it's a matter of figuring out tricks. When I was a kid, learning magic tricks, I learned illusions. I learned how to make people think something was happening that wasn't happening. I also learned how to show them what was really happening. Now, I will be the first to admit that I love the game of illusions. I love making people think that they're seeing things that they're not seeing, that things are happening that are not happening, that things are things that they are not. I get a kick out of it because it's very easy. This is why Doug Henning and David Copperfield and Lance Burton and old Mr. Blackstone and the amazing Randy do what they do. They get a kick out of it. The amazing Randy gets such a kick out of it. I'm getting ahead. I get a kick out of doing the illusions and showing, hey, it's funny. And it's funny because people believe it. When you know there's nothing to it, anybody can do this. Anybody can do anything that I do. All they have to do is know that they can. And do it if they want to. Or not do it if they don't want to. I also get no greater joy than showing you it was an illusion. The magician's code, you don't teach anybody your tricks, because because even magicians suffer from the illusion that they need the audience to pay money to see their tricks so that they can live on their own terms and do what they want. Sorry, it goes out. And make the money that they need to take care of themselves in this life. Some of them, they're not going to tell you anything because you're going to take something away from them. You're going to take away their livelihood if you know how they saw a person in half. Everybody knows that one's the box at this point in time. Nobody is no longer amazed that there's people getting cut in half. Everybody knows there's two people in one box that gets separated. So that's not a trick anymore. Some people do still fall for it. I get a kick out of explaining the tricks, busting the illusions. Yes, I have to perform the trick and able to show it to you. What good would it be if I pulled out a deck of cards and said, here's how this trick works, if I never showed you the trick? My thing is, I want to show you the trick because I get a kick out of it. It's fun, and it's fun to watch your face go, oh. And it's endlessly fulfilling to have somebody, what did you do? No, I didn't do anything. I did a trick. Let me show you how I did it, so you can do it to somebody else. Because I want you to pull this trick on somebody else and make them think that you're so amazing. And then I want you to show them what you did, so you can show them that you're not amazing. You're just you, doing what you've learned to do. I like secrets. I like that. I like the secret of the trick. And some people have given me secrets that I will never tell, because I have nothing to gain from it. I may or may not have anything to lose from it, but I certainly have something to lose for it. You know what I got to lose from it? If somebody gave me some information or a thing that was important to them, and they said, now this is between me and you, please do not tell anybody. There's an eagle out there, and he is beautiful, and he is fishing. So now you have a closer idea of where we're at. And he's flying right there. I can see his eyeballs. Is this some sign from above? No. The eagle lives here, okay? He just decided it was time to fly close to me. He was not directed by angels to fly close to me. He wanted to fly to where he was going, and he happened to be going past me. No trick, no mystery. My livelihood does not depend on whether you know my tricks or not. I want you to know my tricks, because they're not tricks. They're just common sense and logic wrapped up in a great big ball that all the details that didn't matter, you took away from the picture. When you take away all the details from the trick and all you show is the trick, that's all the people see. Life is an illusion, man. And I've learned this through a lot of hard times. A lot of hard times that in reality weren't hard. I can legitimately say I'm proud of myself or who I am to what degree I need to be. I am not overly proud. I'm not boastful. I don't say, hey, here's my trick, I'm magic, and then not tell you. I want you to know because it's easy. And I want people to have what I have finally found by looking past the illusion for the details. Because the devil is in the details, and that is where this expression comes from, these tricks. So, at some point, I decided that I didn't want to be a magician because it wasn't going to give me any kind of secret powers. It wasn't going to make me better than anybody else. All it was going to do was make me a guy that knew tricks that they didn't know. And I could continue to be happy knowing that I was a magician and I could do all these tricks and nobody else can do them, and they had to come to me if they wanted to see them. Or I could say, hey, why don't you let me show you how to do that? And then you won't need me anymore. When you want to see the trick, you can do it for somebody else. And then you can show them how it works so that they can do it. And if we keep showing people what they need to know or what they want to learn, or what they should learn so that they can take care of themselves and realize that they are all they need, what's wrong with that? I'm going to do that. That's what I do. I don't have a little business and a tinker shop to fix things and play magic tricks on people. because I'm better than anybody else or because I need it for my livelihood. I have a day job. My wife has a day job. Neither one of us are quitting our day jobs, and if we did and we needed another day job, we'd go get one because that's what we would do, because we would need to take care of us. So I lose nothing by giving. I give. Not because it's the right thing to do, not because it's what's expected of us. It's not because that's what good people do. I'm not trying to be a good people. I'm trying to be Scott Edward Babcock. Now, if I'm going to be Scott Edward Babcock, don't I have an obligation? If I make the choice that I'm going to be Scott Edward Babcock, don't I also have the choice to be the best goddamn Edward Babcock there ever could be? What is wrong with me pursuing that goal? Nothing. What I have that shop for is because I do like fixing things. Because fixing things is the same thing as a trick. If a clock don't work, it's no great mystery. It's a machine. It's little pieces of this, that, and the other thing that work together to make this clock go round and round and round and round. And if you got one of those fancy clocks, they got the things where they both go round and round and round. But if the person who brought me that clock wants to sit there and watch me fix this clock, I will be more than happy to explain step by step what I am doing, why I am doing it, and how it's going to resolve the situation of the broken clock. I don't think, there's a lot of people that in businesses that sell antiques and things like I do. I'm not trying to take anything away from them. There's not a lot of people that do the repair and stuff, things that I do, or that will, just go out and randomly do this and that for people. But there are those too, and I'm not in competition from them. The fact that they exist and that they've been doing this before me does not mean, excuse me, that I am now in competition with them, and I'm trying to take their business and they're trying to take my business. Many of them, their business is fixing what people bring to them. My business is fixing things that people bring to me, and if they would like, I would gladly show them what I'm doing so that they could do it themselves and not have to come to me. Yes, I'm Xing myself out of their dollars. I don't need their dollars. All I need is me. I freak people out a long time because I make deals. I make great deals. I make better deals than Donald Trump. I'm sorry. I'm not bragging. They're not as big of deals. By no means. But see, my deals, everybody walks away with what they wanted and what they're happy with. And they go spread that around and do what they gotta do. And some people, even though I've showed them several times how to solve the problem, and keep having the problem, and they bring it back to me. And I'll be like, hey, so-and-so, didn't I just show you this like 5 times how to do this yourself? Yeah, but I don't want to. And I haven't seen you for a while anyway, so whatever. Some people will take the lesson on solving the problem, and other people just think, no, I'll let you do that. People live in fear, but they live in fear the wrong way. Fear. Fear is a bad thing. We shouldn't be. Do not be afraid. Fear is a basic human instinct to help you not do something stupid. If a wolf or a bear came up from the trees in front of me and came over here and put their head in this window and bit mine off, I would be afraid. the minute I saw him coming towards me. So I'm going to roll my damn window up, start my truck, and I'm going to leave their space so that they can't put their head in this window and chew my head off. It doesn't mean I'm not afraid. It means fear was a tool I had to make the right decision to get to where I needed to be, which would be out of the dinner area of the bear or the wolf or the demon or whatever the fuck I thought was coming at me. That's what I would do. And that's what I try to teach people to do. I don't tell them I'm trying to teach them something. I'm just showing them. And this is not me. This is not any great talent of mine. This is something I got from my father, who to me is the greatest man who's ever lived. Maybe not to you. To me, second greatest man that ever lived, my grandfather. So many of them. My dad. Everything I know now, everything I can do now, is because my dad did it when I was a kid. Something go wrong at the house, Dad would fix it. Neighbor had a car problem, Dad would fix it. Dad had so many cars in the garage, in and out, people wanting him to fix it. My dad never cared what they were paying him. Yes, he was doing it for money because, unfortunately, people have this obsession with this little green piece of paper. There's so much money that's not green. It's incredible. And that's the deals I make. I'm working a lot of money that's not green. Most things that I have, I did not purchase with money. I purchased them with labor, or I purchased them with knowledge, or I purchased them with favors, or whatever. Because that's the best thing. Two people getting together. I need this, you need that. Let's swap. Keep the money in your pocket for the people that don't have anything, more creative to come up with. So my dad, he'd do all these things, and I'm not going to list the things that my dad can do. But every time when I chose to be with him, when he was doing something, or working on something, whether he was frustrated with the job or not, whether he was frustrated with the fact that I was helping him but not helping him because I wasn't helping the way he wanted me to, he never yelled at me, he never, God damn it. I can give you an example. One time he's working on a car. He's got a trouble light, with the hook on it. He's got it hanging on the hood there, and he needs to see down farther. And he hands me a light. He says, "Scotty, hold on to this thing." I'm pointing right there. And so I hold on to it and I point it right there. And then I caught sight of something up in the rafters, and I'm looking up there, and the light went up. Scott, huh? I'm down here. Oh, put the light down there. That goes back to work. And my dad's motorcycle sitting over in the corner. Big old Honda. Well, not big. It was orange. It was like 750, but it was automatic. If you see them, they're all the same color. They all look the same from that time period. And I'm looking at the motorcycle over there, and then the light goes down there, and I go, "Scott, I'm over here." He just kept bringing me back to where I needed to be. That's what I want to do. I'm just telling you, you're putting the light in the wrong place. Just move it back over to where it goes, okay? I don't need to get mad about that. And if you're really not going to hold the light where I want it to be, where I need it to be, I'm going to go get a bungee strap, and I'm going to put the light where I need it to be. I'm going to wrap that son of a bitch on there. And it's going to stay where it needs to be. But if I want you to hold the light, and I want to teach you to hold the light in the right place, I can't do that. And if you're going to refuse to learn, I will. But as long as I think that you can still figure this out. I'm gonna keep trying. It's when I know darn good and well you're gonna keep getting lost and looking at everything that doesn't matter right now. I'm gonna strap the light to the project and I'm gonna get it done. And this is what my dad would have done, but he didn't have to do that because eventually I got the light to where it was supposed to be. And my dad would explain to me what he was working on and how the motor worked and how this had to do this in order for this to do this. And if this did not do this, then he had to go back to the beginning. And this happened last night to me again. Saw a truck and it was parked at a store like mine, was owned by a lady like me, who decided that she wanted to do what she does. And it was parked out there for sale, and I do that in my thing too. The only difference is I'm an actual salesman, so if something's parked out there, I can go out there, I will know everything about what I'm trying to sell, and I will sell it just like I was trying to sell something for myself. Whereas other people will let you park something and sell it, and somebody comes along, gives you a call, and then you sell your thing. So there was this big old green truck sitting out there for sale, and it's beautiful. And I'm like, no, I don't care that it's for sale because I don't want it, because I have enough old cars that I love. And they ain't going nowhere until, or unless they need to, or I want them to. So anyway, went through the day, got done at work, went to the shop, helped some people I could. I went back to town because I had to go back to work and drop off a trailer that I had borrowed for somebody else to use because they'd gotten kicked out of their house, and they needed a place to go. And I got a trailer, and I put it here, like a storage unit out here. Just put it in there, and we'll take care of it. And I didn't ask for anything for that. I don't want anything for that. It's not a miracle. It's not anything other than, hey, I have this at my disposal, and if we do this, this, and this, it'll work. And everything will be fine. Driving to town, taking the trailer back, and I see in the parking lot at Kmart is that big green truck. And I see this old guy under the hood, and I know there's something wrong. And I stop, swing into Kmart, pull around, and I says to him, I don't know everything, and I certainly don't know anything about new cars, but I do know a few things about old ones, because ever since I was a kid, I was learning about working on old cars, watching my dad and helping him. I'd be glad to try to help you if I could. Yeah. Get out. I think the fuel filter's plugged up. I just knocked a bunch of stuff out of there, and he's putting the fuel filter back in. I said, okay, that's a good start. He said, what's going on? He tells me. Yeah, it's a perfect place to start right there. We get it, puts it back on, we pour some gas in the carburetor. Start right up. And shut off. Poured some more gas in the carburetor, start right up. Shut off. What's happening is burning out the gas that we poured into the carburetor. It can only run while that gas is in there. So our problem is, it's not getting fuel. You start with the most basic possible problem. You don't go looking to replace the motor because it doesn't start. You look at what would be the most likely reason that it was not able to start and keep running. Fuel filter was the simplest, the cheapest, the easiest thing to check. That didn't do the job. So I said, hey, hang on a minute. I'll run over to O'Reilly and I'll grab a new fuel filter. Oh, you don't have to do that. Oh, yeah, I do, because it's just right over there. I'm not doing anything else important, and your truck's going to be stuck here unless we figure this out. Go over to O'Reilly, get the filter, have a great talk with the person that's working behind the register, go back, we change out the fuel filter. By this time, the man and son are there, and they don't. They're like their dad, but they haven't They're kind of like my kid, and I actually said this to them because they went to do something that was silly, and their dad goes, "No, don't do that." And I'm like, "You sound just like me talking to my kid, and my dad talking to me." So while I'm standing around, I'm changing the fuel filter. He does it because he's an older guy. I'm not sure how old he is, but his kids are at least as old as me, if not older, by their gray hair and beards. And my dad's 75, so he's however much older than that he is. But he wanted to do this himself, and I forgot to tell you when I asked him why he wanted to sell it, because I like selling stuff for people that they want to sell. He told me he's been fighting cancer for a while, and he wanted to liquidate some stuff that he didn't think he really needed anymore, because he didn't want it to be a burden if things don't work out. But damn it, that old man wanted to do it himself. I stood the fuck out the way. He knew what he was doing. I didn't need to do a damn thing except sit there and finish it. Maybe reach in and pull it over a little bit so he could get the screwdriver into the worm clamp a little better, but he put it on. And we go, all right, let's go. We'll start up again. Won't start. The battery got run out from all our screwing around and not having time to recharge itself, so we put it on jumper. Sure shit, she shuts right up. And she shuts off after the gas burned out. We got excited because she was running a while longer. But the problem was, it wasn't a problem. But the reason it was running longer is because we accidentally poured too much gas in the carburetor. This is why it ran longer, though this is not what we knew at the moment. As it's running longer, one of the man's sons says, well, the carburetor's leaking. And now me and the man, his name is crazy, but it's Mike. And it's crazy for reasons that I know that I don't have time to explain, but they told me the carburetor's leaking. He said, no, that's just the gas from us pouring it in there, and he wipes it all off with a towel. Do it again, same thing. Kid insists that the carburetor leaks. And it's not just the gas pouring over the top that Mike's wiping off, that I'm wiping off. I'm saying, okay, if you insist that this carburetor's leaking, we now have to make sure. We did a whole bunch before this. We changed the fuel filter. That worked. We took and disconnected it from the gas tank. Gas would pour from the gas tank. We disconnected it from the fuel pump. Gas would pour from that side. We disconnected the fuel pump. Fuel would come from the pump. So it's somewhere from the pump to the carburetor. There's two lines going. So it can either be those two lines now, or it can actually be the carburetor. So let's not resist that we have this illusion that it's gas spilling over the carburetor that's wiping it off. Let's wipe off the gas. Let's pour gas into it very carefully in a steady, small stream to see if it leaks from the carburetor and doesn't get poured over the carburetor. And we do it. And I was saying, somebody needs to look, somebody needs to pour. And I'll pour, you look. And Mike, he wants to do it himself because he can, and he knows he can, and he's willing to accept this help. He says, you look and I'll pour the gas. And I get my head down in there, and I look and I say, go ahead, and he pours, and nothing. Not a drop comes out anywhere. I pour it all in there. I pour about a cup, about that deep of gas, about that big around in there. You could still see the gas floating at the top. And I said, no, wait. And look. There's a leak. The gas is pouring out of the carburetor. The way this particular carburetor works, most of they work the same. It's just a matter of, stupid details that don't matter. The way this carburetor works, the accelerator, when you push on the gas pedal, it pulls it back like this. And that's on a rod that goes through the carburetor. And the gas is leaking from that rod. There's no O-ring or anything on the outside that we can change in this parking lot at this time. I'm like, yes, Mike, this is the problem. That shaft has a seal in there. That's something that gave, and it's leaking the gas out, and it's allowing air in, and it's confusing the mixture of gas and air that is needed to fire the automobile. This will have to be taken apart and rebuilt, and then we can't do that today or here. We could tow your car home. You can worry about it later. He tells me he doesn't want to rebuild a carburetor. He'll just order a whole new one, which you can do. It's his truck, or you could have it rebuilt. Doesn't matter. And I said, what I would do if I were you is there's a gas station right across the street. It's been there forever. I take my stuff to them. Jim, the guy that owns the place, he can fix anything when it comes to a car, unless it can't be fixed. And I said, the smartest thing to do, rather than tow this thing 5 or 6 miles home, is to, if it were me, if this were my truck, and I do have an old truck, and if I had a problem and I was sitting in this parking lot, rather than try to tow it home and risk any damage from the chains or swaying on the road or anything like that, I would just pull it across the street, just across the street, park it there. And he was like, well, tomorrow's going to be Sunday. Nobody's going to be there. Yeah, but you could leave it there and then be safe, and you could lock it up, and then they'll be open. Just the shop won't be open, so you can go in there and talk to them, and they'll leave it there, and then Monday Jim will check it out. I said, and all of a sudden I had an idea. I was like, well, a temporary fix, I can't think of any good ones. I mean, if we put some silicone on there or something, it would stop the leak, and it would stop the air leak and the gas leak both. But what would happen is the gas would eat the silicone in a short amount of time, and it would gum up everything, and it would not be a good way to fix this problem. And I was like, well, it's too bad there wasn't something. And I had a thought. I said, hang on. We got one last thing that we can try. And I came over here to this very truck, and I grabbed this very thick gum. And I took 2 pieces and I put it into my mouth, and I began to chew. I chewed until all the crunchy from the outside of the gum was gone, and the gum was pliable. I took the gum from my mouth. I spread it out into a nice little square, and I put it over the shaft, and I twisted it into a circle tightly over the shaft. I put the air filter on it, sealed it down. I told Mike to go try starting the truck. Should we put more gas in the carburetor? No, we can't. We don't need to put any gas in the carburetor. Plus, we already put the air filter back on, so there's no. Just go try to start it and see what happens. Vroom. And she didn't shut off. Vroom, 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 vroom. Rev, rev, rev. Didn't shut off. There are people that used to call me Rev back in the day. Because back in the day, when I got that title of Reverend from the Universal Life Church through a mail order ad in the back of a cartoon book that I was actually allowed to have in the place that I was at the time, I thought that was a big deal. I wanted everybody else to think it was a big deal. I don't have any qualifications, but I got the title because I wanted it. And then I began to hate it. I didn't like it because I was nowhere near to the level of knowledge that I am now on any subject whatsoever. And so I decided, if they're not going to stop calling me Rev, I'm going to change the definition. I didn't like being called Rev as in Reverend, but Rev as in a guy who likes to get in a car or on a motorcycle and rev that engine and hear it go from the still, quiet sound into a roar. I love it. call me Rev all you want. I do that. I love rubbing shit. It's fucking awesome. So, gave me a title I didn't like. I turned it into what I did. So, it wasn't magic. It was a piece of gum. He drove around the parking lot. She was right as rain. Going home to wait until the Mike decides to either replace the carburetor or rebuild it. No magic, no tricks, nothing but a guy who looked at the entire problem from start to finish and didn't jump to the middle. Start at the beginning and go to the end. Life is that simple. Every problem is that simple. We ask why. Why are we here? Why is this happening to me? Why did God used to talk to people and nobody's actually heard his voice in a million years or however long it's been? Why? I got news for you. Why does not matter. It never did. You're going to drive down the road and your tire's going to go poof. You might look at the tire and you can see, hey, there's a nail. You might look at a tire and say, there is a wear spot that finally gave. You might look and there's nothing that you can see, yet this tire is suddenly flat on the road. And as long as you're standing there concerned about why it happened, you're not going to change the tire, which is what needs to be done. Why that tire needs to be changed is irrelevant. And if there's somebody with you, you're going to sit there and you're going to argue about why the tire is flat. The tire is flat because the tire is flat. Why doesn't matter. What matters is, if you don't want the tire to be flat, you're going to need to change the tire or somehow figure out a way to get air into that tire and keep it there. That's what matters. That's what's going to get you back in a vehicle and moving down the road. Asking why is going to be the biggest waste of time in the world. Why we are in 2018 and we don't all know this, I don't know. And please, I am not the only one that knows this. I could give you like 15 fucking people off the top of my head that know this stuff. Why doesn't matter. And now that I'm thinking about it, one of my entire family's pet peeves with me when I was a young man, my parents, my grandparents, my teachers, everybody else, was I had to sit around and ask why. Scott, do this. Why? You gotta just why. I think it was probably my dad that said to me, Scott, why doesn't matter. You have to do it. Hell or high water. And in some cases, both. Hell and high water. And if you want to take it all up and roll it up in a ball and make it something that's pretty and understandable, hell and high water becomes Helen High Water. The name of my store, our shop, our business. It's all illusion, man. Why doesn't matter. That's all I try to teach people. I will let them believe why it matters as long as they want to. I'm not trying to force anybody into anything, but if somebody comes and asks, I'm going to try to teach them what they want to know. The thing is, worse than asking why, which doesn't matter, is fighting what is. Every minute you spend asking why, what you're doing in reality is fighting what is. You're asking why the tire's flat rather than changing the tire, because you're fighting what is, because you're asking why. Likewise, you can ask why about anything that happens. The fact that it doesn't change what happened, and that if there's going to be a solution, the solution is the next step. Change the tire, get back in the car, and go. The other thing we fight, well, it's the same thing. Fight the solution because we'd rather know why. We have to know why. We must know why. And while we're trying to figure out why, we're not getting the work done. Another example. Lady called me. She wanted to sell me a tractor because she needed money for property tax. Tractors aren't anything that I'm into. But hey, I have a shop that sells things that other people might want that I don't want or need. So I tell her I'll come and take a look at it. I go and look, and it's this little old riding lawnmower, very old, probably from the 50s or early 60s, sitting in the corner of a ramshackle barn with all kinds of crap and shit falling all over the place. It was going to be a job to get it out, even if I did want to take it back to the shop. Which after I saw it, and I saw that it looked like somebody literally poured a 5-gallon bucket of white paint over the top of it. This would be, even a collector of that specific model of old tractor probably wouldn't want this thing, because removing the paint would be far too difficult. The only thing that this tractor would really be good for, in my opinion, would be to take it, finish where the paint didn't spill, paint some other stuff on it, and make it a decoration. Which I've got a whole lot of things like that can't be used for what they were supposed to be used for anymore, that can be used for other things. I have a whole storage unit, basically have at least half full of stuff like that, projects that I know I'm not going to get to. That's why they're not in my garage. They're out in there at the shop, at the storage unit, because you never know who's going to come along and have the same or a different vision for whatever I had, for whatever I picked up along the way. So rather than me sitting there and fix these things and turn them into things that I think they should be, since they can't be what they were anymore, I'll focus on the things that I want to work on, and I'll leave these for other people, and they can buy them from me at a good price, and they can take them and do what they want with them and make them what they want them to be. So it's still too much work to take it out for that. I'm not going to go through that work for somebody else, because I wouldn't be interested. I will ask around. I don't really think anybody's going to want this. I'm sorry. And then she started talking to me about all her problems, and she's got cows and they're escaping, and the cops are getting called on her on a regular basis. She can't feed her cows because she has hay fields that she doesn't have the equipment to cut and bale. Her father died. When people die, there's bullshit that goes on in families, and everybody wants what the other person left. And Patty got left with a ramshackle house and a whole bunch of cows that they used to raise and take to market for money. And when her dad died, and for food, and when her dad died, she doesn't want to eat the cows that she's raising because they're her pets, So she sells them to somebody. Patty is one of the unfortunates, I call them. People who aren't as able to figure out things on their own as other people, stuff like that. And I said, well, you know what? Part of my thing here is, I just like helping people, and I understand that you're in a position that you couldn't afford to pay a lot. Well, This guy came and told me he could do the whole fence and put in a whole new fence for $10,000. I'm like, Pepe, do you have $10,000? No, that's why I told him to go away. Okay. What I can do, I've worked on a farm. My dad was a farmer as a kid and as an adult because he chose to go back to that when he retired. He wanted a farm. He created a farm. Later, he didn't want a farm anymore. He wanted a ranch. And he moved to Missouri, and he bought some land, and he built a log cabin with his own 2 freaking hands. And he put up fences, and he put up barns, and he brought in cows and horses. Mostly horses. And he had a ranch. And he lived there until he wanted to be on a farmette that he found. And he moved over there, and he, nice little house, little bitty barn, little bitty corn bin or whatever it used to be. Charlie and one other horse whose name I don't remember. Sorry. And he had that. And then he decided he wanted to move back home to Appleton and just be Tyrone Babcock. Go to nursing homes, make music. That's what he did. A year ago, I went to Missouri to see my brother. And he took me to the cabin that my dad built. And my dad's beautiful ranch isn't beautiful anymore. My dad doesn't give a flying fuck that his ranch isn't beautiful anymore. It's not his anymore. What he needed from it, he got. And it can never be taken away from him. So, tell Patty, talk to my dad, get some ideas. I have a few of my own. I see what's going on here. I have people that can come. I have people who will do anything I ask when I ask them to do it. Not because of any loyalty to me or anything like that. But if I ask them, no matter how hard, how long it'll take, whatever, they will jump to help me. Because they know if they came to me with anything, I will jump to help them. And I have a few of them. And there's not enough to solve this problem that are that reliable, if you want to call it that. But there's enough to get the job done, and I can find a few other people. I know a lot of other people. As I said, I would work on that. You have a lot of things out here that people would like. I mean, you need money for property taxes. There's all kinds of old signs and old farm equipment and old things that people collect, and people would come out and help you, if you give them that old stop sign that used to be at this intersection or whatever that you told me about. People would like that. They'd buy it from you if you needed green money, or they would help us solve this problem of yours, for money that isn't green, like signs and stuff. Oh, no, those are my dad's. I can't give them. That's fine, you don't have to get rid of them. I was just saying, the people that I would bring here really wouldn't ask for anything. They would accept if they were offered something, but they're not going to ask for anything anyway, so don't worry about it. I have to go there several times to look at the problem. I've gone and explained the problem, and as far as I looked more into the problem, I saw how bad this was. And I knew that me and any army I could put together was going to go out there and fix her problem in the best way that we could in the shortest amount of time possible with the least amount of inconvenience to the people who were volunteering their time, their strength, and their energy to make sure that these cows and Patty were safe and secure. And she said, wow. Okay, and she's going to accept that. I come back, I've got an idea. I work at the Harley shop. I've worked there for 12 years. I know a lot of people. Say what you will about bikers, man. These people, they're the kind of people that would do something like this. Unfortunately, Patty, her sister, and her brother-in-law, I'm not sure if her sister and her brother-in-law, as I call them, are married. I just know that Stan and Linda have been together for a long time, so I believe they believe themselves married. If they're not, they wouldn't be together so long if they weren't. Well, that opened a whole can of worms, because it can't be anybody that knows them, because they have tried to help her so many times and couldn't, and they've quit. They've left her on her own to do her thing, and to sink or swim, pedal or fall off the bike. It's unfortunate, but the thing is, she created that. This isn't Stan and Linda's problem. And soon it was my problem now, because I had volunteered to help fix this problem. And I was lining the people up, but it wasn't fast enough for her. And they were the wrong people. And this person can't help because they know this person, and that person has a big mouth, and that person will tell this person, and this person will do that, and we can't use that kind of tool, and we can't do this, and we got to buy this, and we have to have that. And as I saw the scope of the problem and her resistance to the solution, I knew us coming in here and putting a Band-Aid on this thing isn't going to work. I need somebody who knows what they're doing to do this. I called a guy that is a farmer that cuts hay very close to her, and I asked him, and I had already sensed that there was a problem with the person being who the person was. So I didn't say name. I said, this person has this problem. Her cows need food. It's all there. There's no fences around. She can't just let them go out there and graze it down, because they're just going to be out in the road when they're not hungry. And then there'll be little patches and stuff all over the field. So we need somebody who can go in there and just cut this up and bale it. I said, I can't commit to being able to pay for this. I can't ask you to do this out of the goodness of your heart. But if you could just go look at it and give me an idea if you could do it, and if you could do it, what it would cost, or, if you could do some kind of deal on it or whatever, do that for me and let me know. And I told him where the place was. And he didn't show up. He didn't talk to Patty. The hay cuts is right across the street from her. But he knows who Patty is. And everybody around there knows who Patty is, and they've all tried to help her, and she wouldn't let them, because she just had to determine who could help her, how they could help her, when they could help her. They never went, and I knew they weren't going to come. I knew he wasn't going to go, because when he went and saw what the address I gave him was, he knew it was Patty, and he was not getting involved in the drama. So I put an ad, not an ad, I made a post on Facebook, and I shared it, and I asked other people to share it, briefly describing the situation and what would need to be done, and that we needed actual good old-fashioned American Wisconsin farmers to come out here and direct the army that I would bring. Because we need a farmer who knows this stuff, and not somebody who's worked on a farm like me. Somebody who is a farmer and knows how to do this stuff right, so it doesn't keep happening over and over and over and over again. I am at to here. The only thing that frustrates me is not being able to find a solution. why a situation is what it is does not frustrate me by any means. I don't care about why. Yes, I know why Patty's in the situation she is in. Her dad died and she shut the fuck down and couldn't operate anymore because she's all she's got left. Her own family cannot even be around her without drama that they do not need or want. So, I make this, I'll post. And I'm waiting. I said, please, if you have, even if all you can offer is some advice, please send me a message. We need to get this done. Time is the essence because this problem is getting worse and that's all that's going to happen. I'm frustrated. I start whining about it. And I whine about stuff because if I go back through every step that I did, this is not to say, oh my God, I did this for her, I did this for her, I did this for her, and none of it worked, and she's just blah, blah, blah. No. I'm whining about what I did that didn't work because I'm retelling myself the steps I've already taken so that I don't go back and repeat them to get the same fucking result that I got the last time, which was nothing. So I put this ad on, I'm waiting for somebody to respond. I'm sure, man, around here, these people, somebody's going to come. Not one message. Okay, I'll just wait. What will be, will be. A day later, I decided to look at the post again because I don't pay a lot of attention to the internet anymore. I realize that it's garbage, except for when it's not. The internet has a lot to offer. It has a lot of shit that nobody needs. Why? Who cares? It developed. It is what it is. Take what you need. I looked at it. 793 people had looked at it. One person liked it. One person shared it. The person that shared it was my sister, who everybody in the world can say is not my sister because we shared no blood. We have shared step-parents. Actually, not even that deep. My father used to be married to her mother long before she was ever born. But you ask that girl who her brothers are, and I will be on the list, as will my brother Randy. She doesn't live anywhere near here. And her and my brother-in-law, Joe, they do things, they do the things I would do. They would be, I know for a damn fact if they lived here, they would be here. I know for a damn fact that if they had the time and the ability, they would come over and help. But they can't do that. So Angie shared the post. There was no further likes, no further shares. The next day I looked, it was 1,000-something people had seen it. Got one response. What the fuck do I do now? So I'm complaining about this, and there's a solution. I've gone through everything I've tried. I don't know what else to try. What else can I do now? Because there's always something more you can do. You just have to figure out what it is. And sometimes you have to go whine about what didn't work so you can figure out what would work. So the possible solution that was given to me was, have you tried contacting 4-H? That's awesome. That's awesome. 4-H. These are kids and adults. The adults are teaching the kids how to be farmers so that in the future we will still have farmers doing the things that we need farmers to do. The only thing I know about 4-H is you see the posters around in the schools. I have kids, they were in school. No mystery. None of the things that people like to think about people. I didn't know how the school's out. How am I going to get a hold of 4-H? And it occurs to me, the Juneau County Fair is coming up. The fairgrounds is out there. Surely I could find one building with a sign that had a number for 4-H. So, hey, I'm going to drop my butt out there. I'm going to find me a number. I'm going to make a call. This is going to happen. This problem is going to be solved. These adults are going to say, hey, we can't allow this. We need to help this woman. and we're going to take the kids, and Scott's not going to need to bring an army because we're going to have our own army, and we're going to have all these kids that we're trying to teach to do stuff, so that things like this don't happen to them when they're, the future farmers of America and their cows are getting out or whatever. They'll know what they're doing. So I pull into the parking lot, and I'm not kidding you, there's a bunch of people there. There's a great big 4-H sign sitting there, and right next to that's a great big sign that says Future Farmers of America. I'm in the right place. Thank you. And I get out of my truck, and I'm walking up to where all this activity is happening, and people are unloading and loading cows and horses and goats and sheep and all these people and cows and rabbits and bunnies and all this stuff. And I'm like, I've got it. There's this lady sitting at a table cleaning a grill, and she doesn't look all that happy about it. And she's the only one in all these people that I see who's actually by herself. Others are having conversations, they're working on things with other people. I don't want to go interrupt their work. She's just cleaning the grill all by herself, so I go up to her. And all my dumbass glory, with my funny little hat, and I look her in the eye, I said, I know for a fact that you're going to want to slap me and say, here's your sign, bud. Is there anybody here I could talk to about, from 4-H or something, about a farming issue? She looks at me like I'm fucking crazy. Oh, no, seriously, I need to talk to somebody about farming stuff. So, well, that guy over there, he's in charge. He runs. I'm not saying what he runs, because I don't want anybody. He did what was on him to do at the moment. She brought me over there and introduced me and told him what I wanted. And I'm taking his time, and I'm going to tell you quite frankly, the man was in he was in the middle of a bunch of stories of how great he was that he was telling all these people, and he was not pleased about being interrupted. But to his credit, he at least looked me in the eye once before going back to what he was doing on the grill, not telling stories about himself. I told him the tale. And he says, well, we don't usually do stuff like that, but you could submit a proposal, and we could talk about it at the meeting next month and see if it's something that we want to do. Okay, sir, I'll do that. I turned and I left. 4-H and FFA are not going to be helping Patty. Even though I haven't told them that was Patty. They very well may know all about Patty, but I didn't tell them it was Patty. They still wanted a month to talk about fixing a situation that should have been fixed a month ago. So I left. I was not going to get help there. Patty sent me more nasty text messages about I'm not doing anything, and I'm sending the wrong people and all this stuff. And I said, she's always talking about she's never doing anything except for this, that, and the other thing for the church, and she's doing a lot more than that. She's going around the community trying to sell old clothes that are soaked in cat pee and whatever, to do whatever she can. Anyway, so I just asked her, and I already knew the answer, because most people that talk a lot about doing things with and for the church belong to the same church, because this church is very active in the community and have things going on all the time. And I knew, but I wanted to be sure. I didn't want to just go barging in clueless, thinking I know some stuff that I don't. So I asked her, I said, hey Patty, off the subject, but what church do you go to? And she told me, and I knew it was the right one, so I packed my butt back in my truck, and to the church I go. Locked. When I was a kid, I could walk into a church anytime I wanted to. I could walk into any church, walk through, look at the beautiful stained glass, look at the statues, look at the beautiful wood, spend my time there, and leave. And feel better about having been there. I won't say that I've been in every church in Appleton, but I probably have. or at least the ones that existed when I was a kid. Many that are no more. I go to the church. Door's locked. I find the rectory. It's a Catholic church. I was raised Catholic. I did the whole thing in a Catholic church. It's not anything I've done since I finished catechism and being an altar boy. It was just not my thing. So I know what a rectory is. I go to the rectory. Father does not answer the door. The girl does because it's Father's day off. So I have a situation. It's very important. And I really need to speak to Father about one of your parishioners that needs the congregation. And she looked at me like I was crazy. I keep thinking it's the funny little hat that makes people think I'm crazy, and I swear to God I take it off sometimes just because I don't want people to think I'm crazy. So she, in all her wide-eyed glory, invited me into her office, and I explained the situation to her, and I told her I must be done at this point. I've tried everything I could to help Patty. She does not want the people I have or the methods I have or whatever. She has these cows that are going to, kill her and themselves because they won't be able to eat because she can't feed them, blah, 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 blah. And I said, this is now a matter for the church. This woman has committed herself to this church. She has believed in this church. She has come to this church and been a part of this congregation is probably all of her life, as far as I know. And you guys are the only one that can help her now. And you have to, because I can't. And I told them, everybody, I told them the 4-H, the FFA, all of that, forget it. They're not going to help. Unless they're members of your church. And Father asks them to help. Then they're going to help. They're not going to need to wait until next month. And I guarantee you, I do not know this for a fact, but I guarantee you that that man is a member of that church. I don't know why I would guarantee that, but I would. So Patty come at me again. Patty, I've talked to Father. I've talked to the church. You need to go talk to Father. I talked to the church for a good long time. They know the whole story. They know everything that needs to be done out there. And they will help you. Go see Father. No, you will do this. Patty, go see Father. No. I'm going to go on Facebook and I'm going to talk bad about you. Ha 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 ha, LOL. My response, and I don't have to pick up my phone to know this verbatim. I said, Patty, your desire to destroy those who are trying to help you is why you will not get help. I am done. Go see Father. I have spoken. Go see Father. Now, some of you are going to think that was a shitty thing to do. That was a tricky thing to do. That was making her think something that was not true. Everything is not true. It's all illusions. But I cut off communication at that point. The last words were, go see Father. And I will not speak to her again. I will not acknowledge text messages, phone calls, or anything else, because there is nothing I can do. This does not mean that I do not love Patty with all my heart. It does not mean I don't wish that I could go out there and fix this for her. But see, anything I can do for Patty's going to be a Band-Aid. I don't do Band-Aids. If I can do a solution, I'm going to do a solution. If I can't do a solution, I'm going to find somebody who can. When somebody offers help, and you're desperate, you take the help. And if you don't, you're going to continue to be desperate. You can't ask a mechanic to fix the car the way you want it fixed. My grandpa had this great thing. I got to do this. This is awesome. And I never knew how awesome it was until just now. My grandpa said this to me a million times until I knew it by heart, because he wanted me to know it by heart. Only now, in this exact moment, my grandfather died in 1980. Does this mean something more than a funny little thing? He used to say, Scott, he started out slow, and then he revved. He started out slow. Scott, if a doctor were doctoring a doctor, would the doctor doing the doctoring, the doctor doing the doctoring, the way the doctor doing the doctoring wanted to do the doctoring, or would the doctor being doctored doing the doctoring, the doctor being doctored the way the doctor wanted doing the doctoring wanted to do the doctoring? That's a question. Now, if a doctor were doctoring a doctor, the doctor would knock out the doctor that was being doctored with the aid of an anesthesiologist who would put the guy out. And even if they conversed before and the doctor told the doctor being doctored told the doctor who was doing the doctoring that I want you to do the doctoring in this way, the doctor doing the doctoring knows the doctoring must be done. Okay? So he's going to do the doctoring, and if the only way he can do the doctoring is to tell the doctor being doctored that he's going to doctor the doctor being doctored the way the doctor being doctored wants to be doctored, is the only way that the doctor being doctored is going to allow the anesthesiologist to put him out. The doctor doing the doctoring is going to tell the doctor being doctored that he's going to do the doctoring the way the doctor being doctored wants to be doctored. And when the doctor being doctored goes out, the doctor is going to doing the doctoring is going to do the doctoring the way the doctor doing the doctoring wants to do the doctoring, because he knows that's the right way to do it, and the only way that he can do it. So I'm not going to explain what that means, because I think you know. Patty called for help and she doesn't want the help that she's in. So I put her out so that the church could do the doctoring that needed to be done. The other thing I told her, this was earlier, right before I decided I was done, said, you know, Patty, they said God helps those who help themselves. And this is true. I mean, whether you believe in God or not, doesn't matter. If you want to, and you want to believe in God, and you want to believe that God helps, you got to believe that God helps those who help themselves. And the reason that expression exists is because if you are helping yourself, if you have any problem whatsoever in the world, if you are doing every single thing about it that you possibly can, the help will come. Tell Patty, if that was my farm, and I had, for whatever reasons, why doesn't matter, if I had got myself into a position that I had cows that I didn't really need, that I couldn't afford, that even if I couldn't even get past that illusion, and I believed that I needed them and I could afford them, and I wanted to keep them and I needed them to be safe, and I didn't want the cops coming to me because my cows were getting out, I'd go around and ask for help, and I would go back to my farm. And in this particular case, let's just say Patty's farm's my farm. And if I went back to my farm and my cows were laying in so much shit, piled so high that they could walk over the top of a 5-foot canal paddle, I would be shoveling shit and fixing fences until the cavalry came. And they would come because I would be helping myself. This is what I do. This is what we all do, whether we know it or not. Anything we've ever solved, we've done by helping ourselves. And then the answer followed. And the solution was reached. It's like going to a teacher and saying, teach me. And the teacher says, okay. Let us begin. Oh, I don't want to learn that. Okay. Well, let's learn this. Oh, I don't want to go there. All right. Let's stop and figure this out. All this noise about why what you wanted to learn, you can't learn. It can't be taught to you in the way that it's being taught to you. Hear the voices. I don't bullshit. Life is in session. You don't get to tell the teacher how to teach. The teacher wants to show you something that you think is real and show you that it's not. There is no greater resistance than resistance to the truth. Know the truth, and the truth will set you free. No. Don't believe. Don't have faith. No. And do nothing but live in truth. Whatever it is. Truth right now. Truth forever. Has an ability to be kind of ugly. Like 7 or 8 cows sitting in a pile of their own shit that's so high they can walk over a 5-foot fence and not think twice about it. Doesn't mean it's ugly, it just needs to be taken care of. But you don't get to decide how it gets taken care of. When you've tried to put it in somebody else's hands, you have to leave it in their hands. Let go, let God, right? Get it? You let go, and then God provides the answer, if there's a God or whatever. I'm not disputing anybody's belief in anything. I would never do that. Whatever your religion or belief may be, I've checked it out. I started checking them out when I was an altar boy. And Pope Paul. Not John Paul II, Pope Paul. At the time of my catechism, sent me a little prayer book and a picture of him that he hand wrote on the back. Ink. Pope Paul's writing. I have. It's never left me. It never will. Even if I lose that prayer book and I lose that picture of Pope Paul that I haven't seen in I don't know how many years, I can never lose it because it's here. Everything you need is right here. Everything you need is right here. In you. Obviously, I was too young to know what anybody was trying to teach me. I didn't even know anybody was trying to teach me anything. So I had nothing to resist. Whatever I've learned, I've learned. I'm not even aware of all that I've learned. Like the story of the doctor, and the doctor. I never got the story of the doctor, and the doctor until just now, and I swear that. Anything you want. I've got a stack of Bibles. I collect Bibles. I have beautiful Bibles. If that's something that means something to you, you're welcome to come down to my shop. You can see them, you can read them, you can hold them, you can look at the handwriting in them. I will give them to you like that, and you will be able to take them. And they will be yours forever, like they're mine forever. I have an attachment to them in this physical world, and you can't have them. You can have them in the way that I will allow you to have them, and you can have them totally, completely, and without missing one piece of what was given to you. Me, I have an attachment to holding on to these because they're beautiful to me. I'm not. I could rip the Bible to shreds as an instruction book. And there's so many things in there that you could tear apart if you want to. You know, I could literally, and I have done it, sit around and completely dispel everything in the Bible if I wanted to. There's no need to. These things were given to us by whatever means they were given to us. First to control us, but also to show us the way. That's why you got to read through things sometimes. You got to read. I've read the Bible. I can't tell you how many times, and that's why I collect them, even though it's not my thing. Because there were many times in my life where were in places that the only thing I was allowed to have was myself and a Bible. And the Bibles I collect at one time belonged to other people who may or may not have been in a similar kind of places that I was in, but at some point in their life, their Bibles that I collect were as much of a comfort to me as the Bibles in the jail cells were to me. I mean, they're as comforting to them as they are to me. The reason they are is because I've learned things from them. You know, the biggest thing in the Bible, the thing that everybody talks about, the thing that people are still talking about today, we'll talk about tomorrow, and we'll whatever. It's Jesus. It tells the story of Jesus' life and the things that he did. Yeah, they made it out to be some big hocus pocus that it wasn't. He was killed for trying to shatter the illusions that people suffer from, because he didn't want anybody to suffer, because he loved everybody. Now, I am not Jesus. I am not an angel. I am not a demon. I am not the fucking devil. I am sure as fuck not God, whatever that might be. What I am is a guy who realized that the story of Jesus was for us to follow. Follow me, man. Don't follow me. Don't follow behind me. Walk with me. Follow me till you walk with me. We'll be side by side. You gotta be back there for a while, be back there for a while, but follow me. Do as I do. And you will have what I have. You will have my peace. You will have my happiness. You will have my joy. You will have my love. People take this wrong, man. Even if they don't. If you can find no real message in the Bible or in Jesus, you're not looking hard enough. The whole point is, try to be like Jesus. What would Jesus do? Jesus would do what Jesus would do. Now, if you think you're smart enough to figure out what Jesus would do in a situation, you jump on that and you do that. And if that's what Jesus would do, you're going to find yourself in a very good place. That's where I'm at. Because I just want to do and have what Jesus had. Like I wanted to do and have what Doug Hanning had. When I was young, when I was going to church, I wanted to be Jesus. I wanted to be Doug Hanning. Because Jesus and Doug Hanning were so much goddamn better than being Scott Edward Babcock. But I can't be Jesus. Jesus was Jesus. I can't be Doug Hanning. Doug Hanning was Doug Hanning. But I can do the things that Jesus did that made him happy and at peace. I can hold on to truth wherever it is, whether beautiful or ugly, and accept truth as being truth and work from there. I can help my fellow man. I can make them think that nothing can be done for them. They are lost. They are hopeless. And I can Show them that they're not, if they want to see that. Many people don't want to see that they are not lost, that they're right where they're supposed to be at any given moment in time. They're only supposed to find the path forward. So, yeah. I go around and help people and I won't take money. I go around and help people that don't even know I was helping them. And I don't want credit for it. I always, if you ever do any of those things where you know where you go into the grocery store or whatever, and they ask you if you want to add $1 for whatever charity or whatever, I always say yes. What's $1, right? And then they hand you this little card. They want you to sign your name on it, so that you can get put up there and you can be one of these great people who donated a goddamn $1 to help the Children's Miracle Network or whatever the cause of the day is. Not me. I don't want attention. I don't do what I do for me in that way. It's not for me to get a pat on the back, I don't need a pat on the back, not even for myself. I get great joy in trying to be like Jesus. I'm not trying to make people think I am. I'm just trying to do what I think he would do. And if I do, it'll be right. And when I cry, this is not sadness. It's joy. Because I'm beyond sadness. Unless I choose it. As we all are. I thought I had more to say. I can't think of it right now. So, I'm smoking my cigar. Because I want to. Not because I have to. I'm smoking to remind myself that I don't need to. I just decided I didn't want to do that anymore. But it's okay to go back and enjoy it. If you want to. Don't have faith. Do not believe. Know. And do. When I've gotten done enjoying smoking cigars again, I won't anymore. Unless a couple of years down the line, or days, or months, or weeks, or hours, or minutes, I decide I want to go ahead and enjoy it again. So, just like me, man, I am not special. There's no great mystery. Look beyond the veil. You do know that The Wizard of Oz is not a story about a girl who got swept up in a tornado and transported to a magical land, right? Did you know that? The Wizard of Oz is a story of life, man. The wizard is no wizard. He's just a guy behind a veil. That's it. That's all. The lion, the Tin Man, the Scarecrow, all of us. Right here. Everything we need, we already have. What we want doesn't really matter. What is what matters. So, smoke. It's okay,